Hello everybody, hope that you are very well and welcome to this evening's Bitcoin live stream where we're going to go over the primary focus on Bitcoin tonight. Obviously, the extreme volatility has come back. It's kind of funny. Overall, we obviously are within this range. Still, obviously, for the past few months, we've been trading in it. But over the past 7 days now, we've had extreme volatility, obviously with the tapering down of the move below 30k and then the extreme short squeeze that we had. And then obviously the top out that we had a little bit earlier yesterday with, the rejection off of around, well, I'll show you. It's basically a daily level from $40,500 and obviously a bit of a pullback going into today and ending with a little bit of a rally, obviously with a CCV setup currently, underway potentially. So we got quite a lot to actually cover tonight. I think I was going to, the way I'm planning to do this is in a kind of a 2 or 3 parter. So obviously the title of this video, I have put the title of this video extremely bullish setup here potentially on the Bitcoin charts, and I will cover for you all the exact bullish pattern that we actually have on that is forming on this charts. Obviously it's to be taken, I'll kind of run over the really bullish type of literally the bullish chart that you have right now, and I'll go over the targets for that. I'll happily cover the targets for that pattern, and I will also, for food for thought, I always like to do the food for thought type of analysis where we can go over obviously the bearish invalidations of the pattern, because it's really important in my opinion to not only know the patterns that are forming on the Bitcoin chart or whatever chart really, but also know where it's wrong. So if you have a bullish idea, you have a bullish setup, you need to know where it's invalidated, where this idea is no longer correct. Okay. So yeah, how does that sound? That's what I'll be ending with tonight, towards the probably the middle to probably actually about 3/4. I have no idea how long this live stream is going to last. Let's say it lasts 1 hour. Probably for 45 minutes of it, we'll be covering more towards that, and then doing some question and answers, if that sounds fun. It's obviously been quite a while since I've done a public live stream, so I feel like it's it's a bit of a special one. Oh yeah, the reason we're doing this one is because you all smashed the likes on the YouTube video. I said 2,000 likes on the YouTube video, I'll do a live stream for you, and we hit like 2,500 likes. So yeah, this video is really only done because of the support that you're showing the channel, smashing those likes. Absolutely free, and I give back to you in return by providing you with the best content you're going to see on YouTube. And that reminds me, it would be an absolute pleasure and, be very grateful if you want to go and retweet this tweet over on Twitter. This obviously is just, make people alert that we are live. And again, it's just nice way of saying thank you if you enjoy what we're doing here. You can smash the likes, smash the retweets, over on Twitter. I'll post that in the comments section for you. So yeah, that's kind of the layout here. Let me just do a quick refresh. Let's just make sure everybody is A-OK with the sound and everything is good. We got some people saying, Daniel, it doesn't look like you're bullish on Bitcoin anymore. Well, I guess you'll see by the end of the stream whether you have to remember the title's not always telling of the video. So listen to the content that's actually given in the video rather than just listening or looking at the title. The content within the video is much more important than the title. So we'll see by the end of the stream, no? But I think it's going to be a fun one nevertheless. So I want to do, for the first, probably first 5-10 minutes here, I want to give a quick recap. To show you what's really passed over. We're going to be primarily looking at literally the past, 1 week of price action here. And then we'll move on to the current price action. And for the people that, are interested in why are we going over the past 7 days of price action? Some people are like, hey, this price action's already gone. Well, the reason I'm going to go through the past 7 days of price action is really, you have to remember we are primarily an educational channel, and, by going over the past, recent price action, you can kind of get into my mind, especially as a trader. And I feel that's one of the best ways that you can learn, by seeing, what's going on, what was going through our minds. And if you can start to absorb and acknowledge and, learn from essentially, the beings that go on in this market, naturally one would expect or hope that you start to progress as a trader. So that's why I'm going to start off by covering the past 7 days here. Obviously, I've already covered this in a public video, on one public video, so I'm going to go through it fairly swiftly. But nevertheless, I'm just going to get it all done in this stream here, and then we'll move on to the current. Well, it's obviously a medium-term time frame bullish setup, but it would bring you up to about $50,000. So it's going to be pretty exciting if it plays out, I think. But yeah, to start off with. This section here, again, I think I've covered it pretty extensively, but a lot of people are always going to be thinking to themselves, why was this move so quick to the upside? And I try and offer you thought-provoking thoughts. I question you now. Was this move to the upside so quick because of the Amazon rumors at the time? Lots of people speculating, I suppose, Amazon is going to accept Bitcoin, which in my opinion was like, this is never going to happen. But, there was speculation there. Amazon's going to accept Bitcoin, X, Y, and Z reasons, all these sort of reasons that people come up with of why this move was so quick to the upside. And as I will tell you, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. We don't ever need to listen to what the news is. It's irrelevant. It's late to everything. And obviously, the reason... with one, in my opinion, 99.999% certainty. The reason why this was such a swift and quick move to the upside was because of two factors. Firstly, we broke $30,000. As you know, I was a trader that made it very clear. I thought we were breaking $30,000 for over just under a month since the 26th of June, where I put out the tweet, if we don't break 30K, I'll give away a Lamborghini. I was very confident we were breaking 30K. And obviously it all come together when we gave away this trade of the week over on the Champions live stream, where we predicted this would be the case. Run $30,000, stop everybody out, really quick, move to the upside. E.g., it was irrelevant of the news, it was irrelevant of anything else other than it was all in the charts. E.g., this is the three things. If you're wanting to write down notes, please be my guest, take out a notepad, write down the notes on a bit of paper. Why was my thought process this? And again, this is for the educational reasons. Why was my thought process this? Why would we break $30,000 only to pump? Three primary reasons here. If you break $30,000, you get the people that are saying $30,000 is never going to break. Daniel, you're incorrect. E.g., these people that are longing get stopped out. So e.g., you got a lot of people stopped out of the market. Reason number two is a lot of people are like, hey, this is a breakdown. This is a good time to short. E.g., they're shorting at the lows. And thirdly, you have the people that have seen the move below $30,000 and they're saying to themselves, hey, we've broke $30,000. We're going to $25,000, $15,000, $5,000, all the sort of extremely bearish articles that start to come out. Now, so you have three primary reasons why this was such an epic level to predict. Those are the three reasons why this short squeeze was so fierce. And obviously all those sell orders paired with how do you feel a really big long position where you get the market scared? All those sell orders paired with really big buy orders. And obviously, well, the rest is really simply history, isn't it? We got that really quick move to the upside and it really simply progressed with the entry on the day, as we all know, through the rising wedge and well, actually within less than 1% of the target. And I will stress this, the day that we took the longs on the 20th of July, I was posting that in the Champions group just for if people are, interested in this. Those updates were given. Obviously, the initial idea was given in the Champions live stream. And then the confirmation for myself, at least, was posted in the group. Hey, this is the good time to enter. I'm personally okay with this entry. I'm in my long positions and we will see how this fares. Obviously, the next day we continued with acknowledging the swing trade is definitely in play. Moving up to, wow, a lot of strength. That was obviously on the 21st. Looking obviously for that target just below $41,000. Okay. And I will confirm whether this is still the case a little bit. In about 3 minutes time, I suppose. Obviously, it moved towards this type of, really quickly short squeeze setup. These are all NPOCs, so your naked pointed controls. And e.g., this was showing us at the time during this live stream, there is a lot of resting liquidity above us. Many people would be caught off guard. And obviously, this was really simply the case. Okay, so I think there's just a few, really important things that you just got to bear in mind when it comes to this. And this is the final bit before we move on. The fact that we had that CME gap, and I think this was just the final straw in the coffin, so to speak. Is that saying final straw in the coffin? I'm not sure if that's right or not, but basically the last bit of the cake, which came together obviously on the 25th of July, recognizing that we were in for this final move here, obviously from the 25th, that final move upwards of about 20%, and why this really happened. And as we all know, it was a pretty epic prediction in itself, and that was based off of the CME market with that gap, people getting bearish on the gap, and really simply, short squeeze was at that moment in time pretty likely. No, and that really brings us up to where we are now. So, obviously it brings us up to this section of the chart right here. For the people that are interested, there was the chart of the week prediction from the beginning, predicting the move to the downside, getting the entry, bringing it all the way literally to, and that is within 1% of the target, within 1% of the overall target. For me, this actually is a trade complete for those interested. And I'll explain why now, I suppose. That really brings us up to here. So we can zoom in a little bit. I will now hide this trade of the week. Okay, so if we zoom in on the chart here, I suppose we can cover the CCV setup. I think there's one final thing that I want to cover here, and that is I want to just really quickly cover this rejection to the upside before we get into what's happening here. And this one, nail in the coffin. I just saw at the corner, nail in the coffin. Yes. Needle in a haystack, straw I don't know where, but nail. That was the nail in the coffin. Yes, thank you for the assistance there in the corner of my eye from the comments section. Shout out to all the champions, contenders, and spectators. Everybody alike. Shout out to all you legends with that assistance. Nail in the coffin. Yes. So I'm just going to take a really quick look at what's happening here a second. Okay, cool. Yeah, we have a little bit of time, so let's go. So I just really want to quickly talk about this rejection here, and then we'll move on to what's happening. This will only take 2 minutes. So obviously the rejection, what happened here? As I mentioned on Twitter yesterday, you probably aren't even going to believe this if I told you on Twitter. So what I was thinking, I'm just going to have to show you this on the stream because there will be some disbelief. So what I will say, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments section on YouTube right now, just to confirm for the people that are not in the group, the level that I gave of the key resistance level 12 hours before it was hit of $40,515. All I ask for the people that are contenders and are champions, just write yes in the comments on YouTube right now, just so people can confirm that was the case, that this was a level that I did give in advance, and so people could see it for their own eyes. Well, I'll show them now what this was based off of. But obviously this was based off of the every single day I give a key updates and I give key resistances and key supports, and my key resistance was 40,515. Okay, and here you go. Here comes the yeses. Yes. Yes. This is the confirmation from the people, just to confirm that I gave this level, because it's one of those levels which it just seems like disbelief, because I'm pretty much calling exact highs and exact lows on the reg right now, like really regularly. I'm calling these levels really precisely, and I do understand that there will be some disbelievers. So there you go. Here's you can tell we have thousands of people in the group, but nevertheless, there's a lot of people agreed I gave this level in advance, and it was 40,515. And it's one of these things. I'm not only giving that level, but then in the time as it's happening, I'm also confirming to my group that yes, this is a good short position, or one that I am actually taking. So this is what people will already say. What's the advantage of being a champion? Well, you get live in the update, live in the time as it's happening updates. And this was one for my own ego that I had to assist the market with, and that was obviously a scalp short for $40,515. And well, the rest really simply is history. The reaction we had off of that was, well, these yeses are still coming in. Thank you everybody for the support, by the way. But yeah, this was a special one again. I've given 3 levels of resistance on the move to the upside, and each one of those levels has been hit to the dollar for a rejection. It really is a thing of beauty. And obviously that there you can see the reaction for yourselves. Come down even on the 15-minute chart. You can see the wick onto the magic CC pool level. The confirmation I was giving in the time as it was hitting. Hey, it's worth the trade. And yeah, no, that's the reaction. So if anybody asks, why did Bitcoin reject at that level? Well, now you know. CC pool basically shorted it, and I'm pretty certain that was a highly influential reason of why the market turned where it did, to be totally honest with you. Just putting that out there. So yeah, we've obviously had a pretty substantial pullback. This pullback in total is obviously for about 10%. So 10% pullback, fairly large, no? Fairly large pullback. And then you're going to be getting on to, why... Well, you might be thinking just, why have we bounced here? Where are we coming up to now? And this is where we can start to pull our fib work. So this is really, again, now we've moved on to the predictions that I've done thus far. The extreme accuracy of how they've progressed. And now let's move on to this section of the chart. I hope you've learned something thus far, by the way. And for the people that are interested, I suppose, why 40,515? Why was that a level you wanted to short? You might be thinking, Daniel, your overall target for trade of the week that you gave was, you have to remember, less than 1% higher. We're within 1% of the actual higher target, which was literally just here. And the reason being, really simply put, was it was a daily level of resistance. And that's literally it. That's literally it. And that's why I think there was some people like, wow, how did you get such a reaction off that daily? And it's just because you put your money where your mouth is, no? And well, you had a lovely reaction off of it. But now you might be thinking, okay, brilliant. What's next? So, well, let's work it out together now. If we take our fib from the low, so what we're looking at here is obviously, you see this was the down move. So you had a downwards move here, move to the upside, move to the downside, move back up, no? Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to pull a Fibonacci from the low of that move up to the high, okay? And as you will see here, we came into the top of that CC, pretty much to the dollar, no? You see this? I hope you can see this depending on what monitor you're viewing this on, but we came within the CC literally to the dollar. And you obviously have got a rally to the upside. A few different things to bear in mind here on the rally that you had. You did have a CCV setup today. In my opinion, with 100% certainty, that CCV setup has hit a take profit one. You can obviously still have the rest of the trade running, but looks as if it's probably going to get stopped out the rest of the position. Should still be a profitable trade. What could you have used for your take profit one? In my opinion, previous day point of control. So the PD POC. Basically, that's why. That's basically, in my opinion, just where a nice take profit one was. So yeah, if you might be wondering, why did you bounce where we bounced? I always say there's never ever a random pivot. And yes, that is the reason why we bounced at that exact level. It was simply the CC. Moving on to then where we are here. Well, there's obviously there's a few different setups that you could have potentially here. And this isn't the overall big setup, by the way. This is just a intraday, smaller term time frame. Okay. So on a smaller term time frame, I always will be thinking to myself, okay, you do have the potential of this sort of Gartley. So this is a harmonic pattern where you have A, B, C, and then you're actually coming down for D. So you would, not necessarily expect us, but you have the potential of this Gartley, bringing you down to around that, $35,000-ish region. Okay, so you still have this potential of this actually comes down more to kind of complete a Gartley pattern. Okay, so this is a smaller term time. Again, we're on the 5-minute chart, but this is obviously looking for another move to the downside on a smaller term time frame. And this actually does play into the bigger picture. This does play into the bigger picture. But obviously, yeah. Would I class this as a strong move to the upside? Are these moves to the strong? Well, there's obviously one thing that I always will look at the correlation. And the correlation, you have to remember, my I mean, for the people that have been a subscriber for years, they already know this off by heart. But obviously, my background is from the stock market, so I traded stocks before I came to Bitcoin, and I was very successful in the stock market. And with that knowledge, though, I've always recognized the correlation since I traded Bitcoin between Bitcoin and the stock market. If you look at the stock market today, this is on the 5-minute chart. It's obviously had a very, quote unquote substantial. I'm never bearish on the stock market, but it's just a very important correlation to be aware of. So this is the S&P 500 minis futures, and we obviously see there's been there has been a pullback today on the ES, and naturally this does add a bit of weight. You would not trade off this correlation alone, but it obviously does add weight to the downside on Bitcoin. So if there is weakness on the ES, you always have to be a little bit cautious, in my opinion, of expecting a big Bitcoin rally. Obviously, it can happen. Don't get me wrong. Of course, they are not 100% correlated. They do have their own, ways of moving. But one thing to bear in mind, in my opinion, is really simply the fact. It's not a guess. It's the simple fact. There is a correlation between the ES and Bitcoin, and the fact is ES has moved down. So with that in mind, it basically adds weakness to the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so yeah, in my opinion, that's an important thing to bear in mind. And if this harmonic is to play out, it would bring you down to around 35k. I probably wouldn't look for the long originally off a D. I do feel you're probably going to come down a little bit lower, but that is the sort of zone you'd be looking at. But I personally would be a little bit cautious to just absolutely just like, e.g. I wouldn't just like preset any bids. Wouldn't preset any bids on it. I would much prefer to just like, not preset there. Maybe if you really want to take it, have an alert. But it doesn't seem the most appealing setup in the world, does it? In my opinion, it doesn't seem like the most appealing long. Yes. So that then brings us on to more of the medium-term time frame now. So this is really what we have in the lower-term time frames. I suppose you could still view this as a potential channel that comes in here. So obviously, if you look at it like this, if we just remove this fib a second, this is the lower term time frame option number 2, that you have a channel low, you have the channel high, and obviously you've rejected from the midpoint. So this is e.g. kind of almost envisioning that you could put in the range here, and that is obviously a range between the low of the range, which comes in, let's just say $36,000, and you have then the high of the range, which comes in at around that 40,500 daily. So you have two ideas really. One is a Gartley, which would look like this. Okay, and then that joins up for your Gartley harmonic. And the second option, which is definitely a valid option, is that we put in a sideways range here, and basically you have your resistance, you have your support. Naturally, you look for longs at the lows, you look for shorts up at the highs, and we actually just end up going sideways for the shorter term, which I feel both. I wouldn't say one's more likely than the other right now. I suppose if anything, it's a little bit more likely we put in the range now. We've had a very substantial move to the upside this week, 30%, nearly 40% gains. I don't see any reason or anything bad about putting in a sideways range here. So that would be probably my most expected scenario. So yeah, this is not really a time to be really bullish, nor really bearish, but I would say that all the time. I think at the moment, I think there's a high potential you put in a sideways range here. It kind of like chop people up, where people are getting really bullish on each of the highs, really bearish on each of the lows, and it just ends up going a little bit more sideways here as people, come in and out, taking longs at the highs, shorts at the lows. It's kind of an opportunity to wreck a lot of people. Again, this can still get a bit of a rotation and then end up like this, deviation from the low, coming back up to the high. So that would probably be my most expected scenario on the lower term time frames. And then this lower term time frame will obviously play into the higher term time frames. So what you could say is approach this totally neutrally. I am a trader that is never really bullish and is never really bearish. So you will never see me say things like many other people might say of, I would never short Bitcoin because the fundamentals are too good. Or I would never short Bitcoin because X, Y, and Z reasons. I will happily short Bitcoin and make money when it's going down, just as I will happily long Bitcoin and make money when it's going up. So for me, I'm totally impartial to Bitcoin dropping and Bitcoin rising. I really will more than happily trade it either way. So in that regards, I have no bias. And for me here on this low term time frame, I'm very impartial of which way this range will break. All I would acknowledge is this is the thing that's very important to remember. Ladies and gentlemen, just write this down on a bit of paper. And this is a quote that I've used before. You do not need to know where price is going next to make money. And it's as simple as that. We do not need to know whether this range is breaking to the downside or if this range is breaking to the upside. And when you think about that for a second, you might think, how can you make money if you do not know where price is going? I admit it's a good question. Well, the reason is, firstly, nobody knows with 100% certainty where price is going, but nevertheless, we're still consistently making money. So how is that the case, you might ask? Well, all you need to know is the levels you're going to trade. Yeah? You see how simple that is? It's like this. We had to just know the level we wanted to trade. Did it have to come down to below 30k? Of course it didn't. It could have just risen without us. But when we know the levels we want to trade, we stay patient for those levels and we trade when they hit. With that, long as an example, and obviously with that, short as an example yesterday. I knew the level I wanted to trade when it was hit. I gave the update as it was happening that I am taking the trade. And so the same scenario is here. We do not need to know whether this range is breaking to the up or the downside. But what we do need to know is the levels we're going to trade within the range, and if the range breaks down, where we're looking for next to trade, and if the range breaks up, where we're looking next to trade. So I hope that makes sense. So with that said, where are the next levels? Well, I've just told you. 36k is around your bottom of the channel support zone. So about 36k, give or take $200. And obviously the top side is $40,500, give or take $200 of the top. I'll always say these tops are a zone and these bottoms are a zone because you see deviations. With that said, if we break the bottom zone, I think it's sensible to look down towards that Gartley that intra, smaller term time frame still, but the Gartley harmonic target. Personally, I would not long there, but I personally wouldn't long there, but still a level of support to be aware of. And obviously, if we break the upside of this channel, I think it's fairly nice to really look, as long as you don't get the swing failure pattern, people to look towards, I think it's sensible, $42,000. If you break $42,000, look for the next level. But, 42k is that big level, or the next big level above this range. Now, you can see that this range, in the past, when you kind of look at it, resistance, support. So it's always nice when you look at a channel and it has got previously respected. So this is a really important low term time frame channel. Okay. And we approach this neutrally, looking for longs at the lows, looking for shorts at the highs. If we break up, we're looking, in my opinion, towards $42,000. If we break down, I think we would look towards, that Gartley pattern. So I hope that makes sense. And now we move on to the massive Bitcoin pump incoming ? And that is based off of this pattern, which I'm about to show you. Well, actually, I'll say first, can you see the pattern? And that's the first. Can you see the pattern on the Bitcoin charts that's considered a very bullish pattern? Can you see it, ladies and gentlemen? Can you see it right now? Maybe, maybe not. Well, if you cannot, Should we have a drum roll and I'll show you? 3, 2, 1. It is a head and shoulders pattern, as we all absolutely love head and shoulders, no? You have a bullish pattern here on the Bitcoin charts. That is your left shoulder here, moving down for the head. And then obviously we have the potential of the right shoulder. So you would say here is this, and we have the potential of the right shoulder here before a pump to the upside now. That's the potential pattern that you have. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, leading into what could be described as a bump and run. Bullish breakout. Pretty simple how to get the target. From the low, of course, this is classed as an inverse head and shoulders. But nevertheless, from the inverse head and shoulders then, because it's a bullish pattern, you basically are going to take it from the low to around the neckline. And you basically expand this from the neckline to the highs. As you can see, it gives you a target, give or take, of about $50,000. Okay? So that's the potential that you have. A bullish pattern to $50,000. Obviously, a few things to bear in mind, and very important factors to bear in mind now. That is, if you break the neckline, you would have to see a big spike in volume. So you would look for this. If you break this, let's just remember this can do its right shoulder. If you break the neckline, you need to see the volume increase. So that volume would need to see a substantial increase. You would also be generally looking towards, in here, you would be looking towards the, well, it's really simply the volume, the delta, and the open interest, specifically, those three things, to judge the breakout. Okay? You definitely have to bear in mind one level of resistance, and that is the sideways range that we have here. Okay? So, just remember, you can break out here and still reject at the range high. Okay, that's a very, very, very important piece of information. So do not forget about the range high, but nevertheless, the concept itself is still the same. You still want to see the volume on the breakout, but just remember the range high itself. And if you do get those ingredients, there's really no reason why you could not hit that 50k. You know, there really is no reason why that could not be the case. Honestly, there is no reason why that cannot be the case. The levels, obviously, to bear in mind are that 42k, are the range high, 40, 43, 44k. If you're clearing that, there's honestly no reason why you cannot hit that inverse head and shoulders 50k target and then take it from there. Whether you continue up higher and breach 50k or whether you reject. So yeah, this is obviously a really bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern that is potentially forming on the Bitcoin chart as we're speaking. Obviously, the right shoulder, this is not expected really to be immediately, because you could still potentially get a much larger drop of the right shoulder. You know, you just have to remember that there's a potential much larger right shoulder to come. But nevertheless, you got to remember the trend line itself. You got to remember to look at the volume. You got to remember to look at the open interest. You got to look at the delta. And that would put in a bottoming pattern now for the larger bump and run. So it is lining up nicely for that potential incoming, massive pump to the upside. It definitely is a potential scenario here, and that's undeniable. That is undeniable. You have the bigger bump and run from the all-time high. So you have the bump and run. You have a bottoming pattern. So it literally would be a textbook, an absolute textbook bump and run pattern, yeah? It would be. It would be a textbook bump and run pattern. So yeah, that's kind of what you have on the medium term time frame for a bullish setup. I haven't said, by the way, whether I think that's the most probable. I've just literally showed you a pattern that exists on the chart. No comment on if I think it's the most probable. Just remember that as well. That's pretty important. But nevertheless, it's a bullish setup on the Bitcoin chart. that one can be aware of and know what to look at and know what to monitor for a potential inverse head and shoulders for a bigger bump and run setup. Yeah. I personally would prefer to trade the actual range itself until it actually breaks, because it's treated me much better than looking for all the breakout trades. But hey, that's my style of trading. I would prefer to still look for shorts up at the range high and longs at the range low, and just, if we break the range high, brilliant. I know what to look for next. I look for inverse head and shoulders, but I myself would still look to short the range high each time. And I did tell you, yes, we would look obviously at the invalidation. The invalidation is actually fairly simple. Well, you could say it's coming back below around 31,500. Yes, that is quite a while wear off now. You have to remember that the right shoulder itself could come down a lot lower. So you really do not want to lose 31k here. But as you can see, you have a few levels in between. You have the weekly, which is 35,300. The daily, which obviously we rejected from, which was 40,515. You have the, this weekly I'm not actually that bothered about anymore. You have the lower daily at 29,775. So really we could say the invalidation of this head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, well, you would actually arguably have to say it's below the daily, just as a bullish break above this daily would have been very good. So we kind of have the big daily here and big daily here, and then the middle weekly for a range high, a range low, and a midpoint now. So yeah, you have basically a range with the daily and the weekly there. That's why I like those three. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say, and then I think I might do a question and answer. So yes, I think I've covered it pretty much all. I've covered how we originally got that long from 29k. Wanted to start with that. I've covered how we then managed to short 40,500 yesterday. I've covered that. I've covered the intraday range, the level to look for if we break up, the level to look for if we break down. And then the higher term time frame potential head and shoulders pattern. So I believe that I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know and I will answer your questions for you. Just trying to think. Oh yeah, there was a few final things that I had to note here before I do the question and answers, and that is there are actually quite a lot of questions. I believe this is coming in. Somebody says, what time frame is that? It was the 4-hour chart. It was a 4-hour chart, mate. Yeah, two things to end before we wrap it up then. First of all, some pretty important news, and that is Bybit, obviously my exchange of choice. I will always recommend this to everybody because I love the exchange. Has officially launched their spot trading. And what a time this was with, as you know, I'm not a fan of Binance. As you saw, the absolutely horrible wick that they had on Binance, a wick, by the way, to $48,000, which is disgraceful. That is literally a disgraceful wick. So if this wasn't enough, breaking news today from Binance that's just come out, by the way, literally has just been announced. So this is breaking news. If this wasn't enough to make you leave Binance, which if it wasn't, I have no idea what to say. But if you still were on Binance, the second bit of big news that has come out just now on Binance is this. And that is that Binance are limiting their withdrawals from 2 Bitcoin to 0.06 Bitcoin. As this guy says, end of an era. End of an era, absolutely. That is absolutely anti-consumer, anti-user, just the worst. Just why on earth are they doing that, yeah? So, yeah, an alert for everybody that doesn't know. Binance are limiting their withdrawals to 0.06 Bitcoin. They have only given you 1 week's notice. That in itself is an absolute disgrace. But yeah, the disgrace kind of started yesterday with this absolute scam wick. And then today, the nail in the coffin was that they are limiting withdrawals from 2 Bitcoin to 0.06, which is just absolutely abominable. That is a very, very, very low amount. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you all know what will be coming next. If you want to make a good decision, then of course you could sign up to Bybit using our referral link. Our referral link, ladies and gentlemen, is a affiliate link. And guess what? With this link, you can get a free $200 bonus on your deposit with your deposit bonus. And I mean, come on, is that not the best deal you've ever seen in your life? That is well worth your time signing up to Bybit, using our affiliate link and getting a free $200. We all know how everybody likes the bonuses. I'll leave that in the comments should you want to make the good decision of joining Bybit. And I will always stand by that decision. Not just because they do scam wicks, not just because they're doing 0.06 Bitcoin a day withdrawals, but also because, well, really simply, Bybit have better fees, better customer support, better user interface. They do not actually trade against their own users. There's just a massive list of reasons. And I digress. I digress with that as we go back to Bybit. But yeah, if you haven't made the move, now is a better time than ever to get a free $200 with our affiliate link and join the best exchange in the world, Bybit. So yeah, and I mean that with hand on my heart. That is not disingenuous. I am honestly saying Bybit is the best. I think you will agree with me if you use it. Anyway, yeah, I'll take a few question and answers. If anyone's confused about the overall viewpoint here on Bitcoin, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So ask away, ask away, ask away, should you have any. Oh yeah, I had a really, so this was one other clip that I was going to play, and that's off the back of when I was predicting the CME gap. This is an interesting clip, by the way. This is just 1 minute. It's a 1 minute long clip. But this was from the last Champions live stream, which I just thought might be interesting to just take a quick listen to. Again, just to get into my thought process, expanding upon that CME short squeeze. I think you'll find this interesting. Take a listen. It's only 1 minute. I think that's agreeable because of the fact it's just continuously doing higher low, higher low. Obviously, this is, the kind of a, you could say an aggressive opportunity, but it's kind of the only opportunities you're given. CC bounce. This was like your last kind of opportunity again before a bounce. And it's just continuously going higher low, higher low. We can say a bigger higher low. It's just grinding up price action. So people that are waiting for this retracement, at least over the past, how many days now? 5 days, nearly 6 days. People are waiting for this retracement and they're just not getting it. So they are just left on the sidelines, which is painful for a lot of people. So, you just have to remember you have the potential of just continuously keep on doing this. And like people that are waiting for this retracement, they just don't get it. And then so yeah, that was basically expanding upon that CME tweet of when we were expecting the short squeeze. And obviously now people have got that retracement. But this was interesting because you have to think that at this time it was continuously higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. People waiting for the retracement couldn't get in. And then you had that final big move to the upside. Then the swing failure pattern onto the daily. And you have to acknowledge that this is probably the time where people are like, oh man, I'm waiting for the retracement. I'm not going to buy. I'm waiting for the retracement. I'm waiting for the retracement. I'm waiting for the retracement. Another massive move to the upside. And they're kicking themselves. They're like, oh man, I really want to wait for this retracement, but it's not coming. I'm feeling so much FOMO. I'm going to miss the move. I can't believe it. I hate myself. Move above. They're like, right, that's it. That's it. I am no longer waiting for this retracement anymore. I have missed out on the whole move. We're above $40,000. I'm seeing left, right, and center on Twitter and YouTube. The breakouts happening. We're above $40,000. I cannot wait anymore. I need to buy. What happens? They buy. Bam. They buy and they instantly get wrecked. For a fact that happened to somebody. Or not just somebody, I imagine it actually happened to a lot of people. The whole move to the upside was designed off of the thought process of a short squeeze and people missing out. So you can absolutely guarantee people bought above 40k only to get instantly wrecked. It's just part of the game. Just part of the game. But yeah, that did kind of make me chuckle. That did make me chuckle. So yeah, let's see if we got any questions in here. I do apologize, and this is like a glitch on YouTube. I know that there were some donation questions, but unfortunately YouTube has this glitch where it doesn't record any of the super chats, which are like old. So unfortunately, I honestly do apologize. And I will always say, just literally just message YouTube and get a refund on this, and just say this guy didn't answer my question. Like, you are more and more, I urge you to do it. Like, just message YouTube and say, hey, the guy didn't answer my question, and they should give you a refund. But I would answer if it was there, but unfortunately YouTube is glitched and I cannot actually show you. Well, I cannot bring them up, so I'll answer a few of the other questions in the meantime. I mean, there are a lot of questions coming in here very quickly, but that's a good one, I suppose, and that would lead into what I was going to say anyway. Is Igor session tomorrow? And the answer is yes. Funnily enough, Igor session is tomorrow. So if you want to learn about Igor sessions, this is a stream, man, people have been waiting for a long time for. So Igor sessions are going to be covered tomorrow in the contenders live stream. Obviously, the contenders live stream is for the contenders and the champions, and I will be covering tomorrow the Igor sessions and then Igor time. So if you want to learn about Igor time, if you want to learn about Igor sessions, tune in tomorrow where I will be covering that. And I know for a fact lots of people are looking forward to it, and I don't blame you. Like, it's literally exclusive content that you will not see anywhere else. No one in the world has covered this, unless, well, actually, I take that back. Some people have joined Chart Champions and took all of our content and are trying to reproduce it. So unless it's somebody that's kind of ripped off all of our content, original content, this is the first place you're ever going to see it. And yeah, shout out to Igor, the legend himself. And we will be covering that tomorrow. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. That's for the contenders at champions, chartchampions.com if you want to sign up and see that. But that will be tomorrow, the Igor sessions. Yeah, we will be doing that tomorrow. So the next question. Did this, I'm never going to answer this question because I have no idea what it is. Seems like previous day value area low. Should we take a look? Yes, it has. So you kind of have back tested. Obviously, this is the thing, and this is what I need the people to remember, that this Gartley pattern, obviously you were generally looking for CC to the opposite CC. So this Gartley, in theory, can still do this, by the way, for the people that, you might be wondering, still come up to this CC here. So it doesn't have to retrace yet. And yeah, basically though, yeah, you can see their previous day Val is still acting as support. So yeah, that support is holding up. So yes, it is still getting respected and it is still support. Stuart says, appreciated, mate. Been in a long earlier, got out and took profit at 38,500. Oh, that was a really good take profit, mate. You basically took profit at the exact high. So that is very good. Well done, my friend. There is still fear. Do you think what's happening right now is a bullish scenario? I suppose. Honestly, mate, I am totally neutral. I am neither really bullish, neither really bearish. I will say I do feel that the break of this range will be a big one. If we break to the upside, we will be seeing finally the top of that range. Yeah. So this will be a really important level. And likewise, if we break down here, well, we should at least see another few percent of the downside. Of course, we have layers of support all the way down. But one would say the break of this range is actually going to be very important, because if you break the top of this range, it's bringing you to the overall high of the range. And should you break to the downside, well, I would imagine that you're going to get a heavy retracement. That's why I'd be really cautious buying if we broke it. But yeah, I'm neutral. I have no bias of which way this is going to break. All I know is the levels I'm going to trade. If it breaks up, I already know what I'm going to trade. If it breaks down, I already know what I'm going to trade. So I have no care, actually, if it breaks up or if it breaks down. I literally don't mind. I'm happy for it to go either way, to be honest with you. And that's the beauty of being a professional trader now. As a professional trader, you have to approach the market in an unbiased fashion where you are happy to trade every direction. Yeah, and then it's just a matter of doing your analysis, and I've done my analysis extensively, marking out where you want to trade, and then just being patient and waiting. Be patient and wait. It's as simple as that. How do you find the daily levels, sir? I would recommend to just sign up to the contenders. Under the contenders videos, I have a whole series dedicated to that. So yeah, it's just not something you can explain in 10 minutes. It's going to take a few hours. So I would just kind of say sign up to the contenders, and you get the hours of content on marking out those levels. I will give you a brilliant trading strategy. Stop trading, save money for the membership, getting knowledge from the best traders in the world. Then start trading. Yeah, I agree. That is a good strategy. Thank you for the live stream. Still helped, even if he's not a member. You're more than welcome, and that's what this one's for. Obviously, this is a free public live stream to, give some assistance to everybody, I suppose. Let's see then. Probably going to wrap it up unless somebody has a dying urgent question. Somebody says, what happened to Nvidia? Nvidia had a split. I think this was a 1-to-4 split. So if you had one stock before, you get 4 stocks. Obviously, I'm a very big Nvidia bull. But yeah, this was obviously trading at $700 to $800. And now it's trading at $189. But it's because there was a split in the stocks. It happened to a few other stocks recently. But obviously, it happened to Tesla. It happened to Tesla. And now it's happened to Nvidia. So yeah, that's what happened to that one. It was a stock split. Best paid indicator. None, I think. I don't think you need any paid indicators. If you've noticed, the way I trade, I don't really use any indicators, and definitely you don't need any paid indicators. So that should be the first thing you can do. If you pay for any indicators, stop paying for them, because you really do not need any paid indicators. At 1,000 million %, you really do not need any paid indicators. Here we go. This is a good one. I like this one because the guy has wrote dying urgent question. So it must be a dying urgent question. How do you prepare, or when a breakout happens, I suppose, at the top of the range, will you stay in along at the bottom of the range? So the guy is basically saying, how would I prepare, or how would I trade if this is to break out the higher the range. Well, the way that I would kind of prepare for it, firstly, I would not long a breakout of the top of the range. That's the first thing you have to remember. I am not a breakout trader. So if this broke out and I was in no position, I would stay in no position. I wouldn't even look to long a breakout. That's the first thing to bear in mind. So the way I prepare for this, if we broke out strong, and again, looking at that strength, we would, put strength equals high volume, no? So if you get high volume, high positive delta, strong open interest move above the high, and yes, you are breaking out, for me, that would just equal no short. Yeah. So for me, that equals no short. And you also have to remember, I have spot Bitcoin, where if I am in no leveraged position and Bitcoin is moving up and I'm in no shorts, I'm still making an incredible amount of money. So in that regards, my position is different than other people where they are required to almost leverage trade. I do never need to leverage trade really. But yeah, my thought process would be, okay, that just equals no trade and I'll wait for my next opportunity. So yeah, how do I prepare? Well, really simply, I'd be thinking to myself, is there a short? Is there a not a short? And I'd be looking at the volume statistics, really simply put, of then deciphering, is this a good long? Is this a good trade, basically? Is it a good short from the top of the range? And obviously, using all of the data that we have in front of us, we're really looking at that the volume side of things. So this is order flow, and order flow is looking at the flow of the volume coming in. And the reason I like this is because there's no guessing. It's hard, cold facts and evidence presented to you in a very clean fashion. So yeah, this is why it's so brilliant. There's no guessing involved. It's just pure data, and I like pure data. I'll take the last few questions, I suppose, that we have here. So, there you go. Thank you, Daniel. Exactly as I predicted you would say. Going to meet you one day. Hey, I'm so keen for a champions meetup. I'm not going to lie. Well played, Dan. Take my hats off to you. Thank you. Joan, been following your public content for a long time, trying to save up for the CC membership by eating cereal, prioritizing education. You have to think, you really have to view Chart Champions membership as an investment in yourself. So do not view it as an expense, but view it as an investment in yourself. And that's really the way you should be approaching it. Actually, that said, there was a very good post by a member on Twitter that, while I'm thinking about it, I can read out. Yeah, being a member for 5 months, I'm seeing my trading become consistent. One tip, do not rush the modules. He rushed the modules originally and lost money. So he went back to watch each module at least 3 times, and then suddenly the learning clicked. Lots more to learn. And here's a little bit of a tip that he has. He runs 5 businesses, so he's obviously very busy. And what he recommends for people is watch the video again and take notes, watch the video a 3rd time and follow along with the charts, and watch the video a 4th time with revisiting the notes every 2 weeks to make sure the information is stuck. E.g., if you just blast through the videos, you're probably actually not, you might listen to the content, but there's a difference between listening and actually understanding. So I think he's recommending here, old Mark, is if you want to really understand the content, you are going to have to watch the videos a few times. And obviously this is a process that's going to take a while. I mean, it took him 5 months to even start to become profitable. And he traded that CCV for a good setup, by the way. So he's obviously done well. But yeah, you have to remember, it's an investment in yourself, and investments take time. Take time to mature. Yeah, so there's that. And one final question before we end. You guys and girls won't regret the membership. The fee is nothing compared to the gains. There you go. I'm trying to do a question here. 8 modules or 9 modules. Here you go. This is the question. It says, do you think this short squeeze was similar to the very quick short squeeze in January from the Elon tweet? No, not really, to be honest. Not really. I think they are not really similar. So he's referring to this one here and now this here. In my opinion, not really, because this was like, well, I suppose they're similar in some ways, but that was obviously off of an old weekly level, I remember. Well, they are similar, I suppose, in that regards. That was a quick move to the upside, rejected off the weekly, pulled back about 50%. This one was a really quick move to the upside, rejected off the daily, and hasn't pulled back 50% yet. But actually, that's a really interesting fractal. Shall we take the fractal together? See how well it lines up. Actually, it's not going to line up because this is too long. Yeah, the fractal actually isn't going to line up. I was going to do a fractal, but it's not going to look that similar. I can already tell. No, it's not going to look similar. So yeah, my initial thoughts were no, they are not the same. This move up was from a run of 30,000. This run feels so premeditated. Like this was just designed to happen. This was, if you know what you're doing, really easy to trade. That's just spitting real facts. It was pretty easy to predict and trade. I feel the Elon Musk one was a little bit more... I just feel that this one was extremely, extremely well respected on the technical aspects. So yeah, they do look similar, to be fair. But I don't feel I would trade them in the same fashion. I literally wouldn't trade them in the same fashion now. I know how I want to trade this, as I've pretty much gone through tonight. And also those fractals don't line up, unfortunately. But actually, it was a really good question. That was a good question, because I definitely understand your thought process. Short squeeze to the upside, reject, pull back 50% you're looking for. Yeah, I suppose that is a potential. I don't feel they're the same moves. Don't feel they're a fractal. But if you lose the range low, yes, I do feel that's highly probable, nevertheless. Okay. And I'll wrap it up here. All I will say, ladies and gentlemen, is as always, if you've enjoyed the content, smash the likes. As always, I'm more than happy to have feedback. If you like this, let us know. If you didn't like it, give some constructive criticism, and let us know why you didn't like it. You know, we're always trying to improve. There's always room to get better. So, you know, it's a lot quicker to get better when you have feedback, no? So yeah, let us know. Reminder for the Igor sessions tomorrow in the Contenders live stream, if you want to see that. If you'd like those sort of real-time updates about how and when I'm taking trades, that's obviously for the champions. And yeah, if you want to join the best exchange in the world, Bybit, then hey, you can get your 200 free 200 deposit bonus with our affiliate link. So those are the final 3 words that I'll say. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. You know, I'm a guy that will stay around literally for, I mean, I'm on the PC a good 12 hours a day. So as soon as this ends, I'll be over in Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, come join the Discord. Obviously, the Discord is absolutely free as well. So there's no negative of joining the Discord. I'll put that link in the comments as well now if you want to join the Discord. Yeah, you can come over and say hello. There's the link if you want to join the Discord. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. Final words before I end. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing that I can urge you to do, that is block the noise. Yeah, what do I mean by noise? I mean the noise of the market, that every time we drop, are calling for $20,000, and every time we rise are calling for $100,000. That's noise. That is going to negatively affect your trading. I urge you to stay focused. I urge you to block the news aspects of the market. If you are buying off of rumors, theory, these rumors of Amazon, etc., it's just never going to make money in the market consistently. So yeah, I urge you to trade the charts with a neutral bias. Do not become ultra bullish. Do not become ultra bearish. And lastly, do not be scared to take the trade. I will always say this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a fan of leverage. I will happily tell you, do not use leverage. There's no reason to use it. I do not use leverage. Yeah. So you do not need to use leverage to make money. Yeah. It's all about compounding your gains. What might seem small adds up over time. Okay. And you need to strive for consistency. But the first thing you need to strive for is actually having confidence. Yeah. So not getting scared too long when there's a long setup. Not getting scared too short when there's a short setup. And the only way you can gain that confidence is by taking trades, recording those trades, and then seeing yourself win consistently. That is not an easy process. That is a process that will take time, but it is a very rewarding process that literally will change your life. Yeah. If trading was easy, everybody would be a good trader. But I tell you, trading is not easy. It does require effort. It does require an understanding of the market. But it is possible to learn, just as everything else is possible to learn. Many people won't make it because they give up. But I love what I do. I will hand on heart say, I wake up every day extremely excited every day. And and this isn't about me saying, look at my life. This is just saying, if you love what you do, if you love looking at these charts every day, put a bit of, put in some real effort and do what you love every single day. And, trading is not a chore. Although we're putting in a lot of time, it's because we want to put in a lot of time. It's because we absolutely love the markets. Yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. And for me, I'm ultra passionate about trading. Trading literally is my life. Call me sad, but trading is my life. And I honestly wouldn't trade. I wouldn't change anything in the world. So yeah, if you're passionate about it, don't give up. Don't give up. The only way of losing is by giving up. So if you want some words of encouragement, if you want some little bit of inspiration, I hope to inspire you with these videos. I hope to inspire you by showing you, what I'm doing here is absolutely possible. And I suppose I'll end by saying this. 10 years ago, did I think I'd be calling market lows and highs like I'm doing now? Of course not. 10 years ago, I'd never have thought I'd be in the position I am in now. Of course not. But that's the inspirational thing, though, that anybody can do this. I am no better than you watching this. I am no different than you. If anything, you are probably more intelligent than me. I'm not an intelligent person. I don't claim to be ultra intelligent, ultra sophisticated, or any different than you. So if I can do it, literally, you can do it too. There is no reason at all you can't. So if that's not inspirational, hey, I tried my best with my final words, but I think it all comes down to passion. Yeah, I honestly feel, why am I so good at trading? It's because I love it, and it's because I put a lot of time into it. Yeah, if I became complacent and stopped putting in the time, stopped loving what I was doing, and stopped putting in that effort, obviously my trading would deteriorate greatly. And I would not be able to come and make these videos of saying exactly as predicted, because I'd be out partying or I'd be out doing left, right, and center. So remember that. You're only as good as you are in the moment. You can fall down and be a hero and the next day a villain and a loser like that. And so if you want to stay ahead of the competition, you got to put in the work. And it's as simple as that. From the very lows to the very highs. Don't become complacent. Work for what you want. Do not give up. And just remember, if Daniel done it, I most certainly can do it too. I truly feel that. because I am literally nothing special. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do with the likes. If you haven't, you know what to do with the feedback in the comments. I'm more than up for that. Igor session tomorrow. And that is it. I'm going to sign off. Thank you ever so much, everybody. I truly love you all. I feel the community that we have is outstanding. And, you know, that in itself is an absolute joy. And, you know, it still makes me wake up with a smile just thinking of the community that we have. It's beautiful. Yeah, I send my heart out to you all. Thank you ever so much. That is me now signing out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you once again. Have a brilliant day. And yeah, peace out, everybody. Cheers. Goodbye.